All right.
Man.
Two favorite realtors on the internet.
We're back again.
It's good to be back.
It is good to be back.
I keep getting good feedback, I'll be honest with you. I had a guy I sat down with this week. He's in marketing for True Value, and he gave me some great feedback.
Cool.
For our show. So between Catherine Smith and then Kyler Russell, got some feedback. We'll have to sit down and talk about it.
That's right.
Not on the show.
No.
But
and then pass it to our executive producer and
absolutely
and see where we go.
But we're gonna streamline. I think that was the thing, is keep it tighter.
Keep it tight.
So with that being said,
are we gonna keep this tight?
I'm Sandy Roberts.
Bryant Lovett.
And Bryant, what are we talking about today?
Guys, we're going to talk about, for once in a blue moon, we're going to talk about why you should not buy a house.
Wow, okay. Ooh. Yeah, that's a different take on it.
That's a different take.
I like that. And then we'll finish today with the giveaway, so stay tuned.
Yes, watch till the end. You will not want to miss this one.
We are not going to be longer than 4 more minutes and 10 seconds. I think we can do a 5-minute show today.
We're going to crush it.
I believe it.
Yeah.
So why don't you go ahead and get us started. If you're tuning in today, we really want you to dial in on why you shouldn't buy. Let me say it again. Why you should not buy
a home.
Why you should not buy a home. And that's important, because part of someone on the real estate side who's been in, it's like, we think it's the best investment, best return on money, but there are times when it just does not make sense, and we want to counsel you when it's not the right time, but we also want you to know yourself, and that's what we want to bring today.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, so clearly, we talk week after week after week after week with reason after reason why you should buy a house. We do believe in it. So, and there's so many reasons. It can get a little weighted to one side. Totally. So let's have the conversation. And I think, guys, we have to start with the most obvious 900-pound gorilla in the room, which is finances.
Yeah, that's.
Can you afford to buy a house?
Yeah.
And so let's have that conversation, because if you can't afford to buy a house with a strong financial position, what I mean by that is do so and not be life poor.
Right.
House rich, but life poor.
Yeah.
Then let's make sure that we address this. When might you hold off? When might you rent? When might that be, honest to goodness, the best decision at the table? Sandy, on average, where would you say your clients' closing costs come in on average?
Yeah, I would say between that $4,000 to $6,000. Yep. So that's a bucket of that's a different than the down payment.
Yep.
So you have the down payment, which is anywhere depending. Some people want to do that 20%, but let's just say sometimes you're just trying to get into your first home. That might be more on that 3.5 on that first time, that FHA.
Right. Yep.
So in that kind of realm, so we got that, but you got that bucket. Then you have the closing cost bucket, which is that, again, we'll say $4,000 to $6,000 depending on property taxes and whatnot. And then, Brian, what else do we got? Because we have probably one or two other more buckets.
That's right. Yeah, we've got what we call obviously there's prepaids in the lender world, but there's prepaids in the real estate agent world, and we call those things you basically the cost to play the game and to investigate. I use the analogy of dating a lot. You're going to date this house, and if you're going to date this house, you go under contract on this house, you need to investigate, make sure it is the house for you.
That's right.
That costs money.
Yes.
So we call those the prepaids. And so you're going to have a certain amount of those costs, and I try to tell my clients, you need to have at least $1,000 in the bank that you are going to spend throughout the process between contract and closing. This is money that you're right, it's outside of your closing costs. It's outside of your down payment.
Yeah.
You can trim that down payment. Right. And there are ways to trim your closing costs.
That's correct.
The seller can even help with your closing costs. Maybe a lender can help with your closing costs. But there are some real hard expenses you're going to have to pay just to investigate the house. And I like to have my clients think about a minimum of $1,000.
That's a good point. And so, Brian, what about kind of part of that prepaid would be the cost of playing the game in terms of the due diligence and earnest money?
Yeah.
So that would kind of be like a fourth. So we got the down payment, the closing costs. We have what it costs once you go under contract. But to get under contract, what kind of liquidity does someone need?
Yeah.
Let's say for a price point around $300,000.
Yeah.
Average, what would you say?
On average, someone needs liquid. If I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to exclude that $1,000.
Yeah.
I'm just going to talk due diligence and earnest money right now. Earnest money we're seeing on average is $500 to $1,000 on average for your earnest money deposit.
Yep.
We'll talk about what those things are in more depth in another episode.
That's right.
Your due diligence fee is all over the place.
That's right.
And that is the greatest expense to you to play the game. It kind of belongs in your down payment bucket a little bit because it does go towards your down payment.
Yep.
But it's paid at the very beginning of the process.
So you need to have it.
You need to have it.
That's right.
Before the point of contract. And so I tell my clients, what do we need in the bank before we see property?
That's right.
Before I start showing you properties.
Can you give me a range? I think that's what everyone needs to hear today.
Exactly. You need at least $5,000 to $8,000 in your bank account before you start this process.
That is huge. That's down payment aside. That's closing cost aside. Right? At some level.
To some level.
Well, actually, no. You're right. That's kind of included.
It's kind of included. I mean, it will go towards, but let's just say you don't buy the house.
Yeah.
Right? It could be in addition to. So
$5,000 to $8,000. I think that's a great amount. I hope everyone listening today is really dialed in because that's something that is really helpful when you start to mentally think, can we buy a home?
That's right.
Obviously, we know it's a great return on the investment. Better beats the money markets, but it does cost to play, as you said earlier.
That's
so
right.
$5,000 to $8,000 apart from the down payment is a good kind of ballpark.
It's a good ballpark
to be able to get in.
That's exactly how I would say it. I would say you got your down payment, and then we need $5,000 to $8,000. Let's keep that $5,000 to $8,000. In view. Make sure you have that to be able to not just say you have it in some account somewhere, but you can make it liquid.
Yep.
And you can write that check right away. So
God, that's huge. This is great information. Again, last week was great. This is even better. I'm just gonna say it right now. Hey Brian, let's go ahead and wrap down today's show.
That's right.
Before we do, you had an idea.
We have a giveaway.
We do,
guys.
The big G word, the giveaway.
The giveaway. We're gonna have some fun with this one too, because I want you guys to get involved with this. So. I guess you can technically do this on Facebook as well.
That's right.
So if you're watching this on Facebook, feel free to get involved. But specifically to our Instagram followers, our Instagram fam, guys, we want to see you guys get creative with how you ask for a Love It Properties hat.
Yes.
We're gonna give away a gray and a black hat. And here's the way it's gonna work. Post in your story.
There we go.
That you want a hat. Get creative with it. Selfie style, go all out, make a graphic. I don't know, get creative with it. Say you want a hat. You want an LP patch hat. Gray and black. And here's the important piece. Tag someone in your story that you would also want to give one of these to, because we're giving away 2.
That's right.
You and a friend are going to be the lucky winners, and so we'll actually go the weekend, and we'll actually let's go the week.
There we go.
Next week we will release who wins the 2 LP patch hats.
Instagram story. You plus someone else get creative. We're ready to get some hats away because they're the dopest hat in the game.
They look so good.
Your 2 favorite realtors on the internet are rocking them on the reg.
That's right.
Brian has his on right now.
That's right.
Join us in the LP gang.
That's right. That's right. So have fun with this one. Get creative. Tell us that you want a hat. Make it compelling.
Yep.
We will pick at random.
There we go. Absolutely. No favorites.
No favorites here. We will pick at random, and we'll tell you guys next week.
Awesome. Well, I mean, as always, your 2 favorite realtors on the internet want you to have a great weekend. Signing off, I'm Sandy.
Yep, Bryant.
And
have a good one. See you next time.